What's going on? What's going on, everybody? We up in here. I'm getting started. I think my guest just arrived. I think he's in the back, so I'll be bringing him up soon. I got to give a special shout out and salute. I'm running late on what I wanted to do. Haven't even tagged the video or done none of the good stuff I'm supposed to do to get the video started, but we getting this thing started. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Let me see some ones if y'all can hear me, because this definitely don't feel right. I was adjusting equipment, and I hope I got everything right and set and ready to go. So give me some ones if y'all can hear me. Well, we about to get this thing started, but y'all know how I always do. Shout out and salute to the early bird squad, those that made it in bright and early before I dropped a comment before I could even get things started here. I appreciate that. All of you that keep the show going, that keep us rolling, I appreciate it. Jedi Mac in the building. Excalibur, who's not my latest Patreon, 'cause I do got a new one from somewhere, and I forgot to put his name down on the Patreon list. I do got another Patreon. Rowdy Bennett in the building says we need a list of brothers. List. You always send me emails. I check them out. I've softly made some content based off some of the stuff you send. But yeah, please, keep on sending those emails. You send me videos all the time of interesting stuff. Keep those coming. I won't always use it, but yeah, I definitely like when you keep those coming. Keep them coming. Bang Bang in the building. Boomer Sooner in the building. Let's see. Rowdy Bennett. Already shout out to you. Ilongo Savage. I think I got your name right this time. What's going on, Mr. Negative to Negative Man? Always negative. He said, just don't get married. Yeah, but see, there's some people that are building lives with women. No. I got a special guest on here today who's in an off the grid marriage. Reality is, a lot of us do want children. We do want families, but we don't want to get caught up in that damn system. We don't want that second party. We don't want the government in our bedroom. So there's a way to do it, to have a family and have control of that thing without the government involved. So that's worth talking about. So we're going to get into that. A man new in the building. Let's see. Abdullah bin Bobby at dash tab. Hope I got your name right. Tab. You said, I assume this will be about polygyny. Nah. Well, you never know. You never know. We will see. The Mac the Trucker in the building. Melody. What's up? Melody. See the ones. Let's see. Miss Starkey. Man, y'all be messing me up with these YouTube names. But he says off the grid marriage or ironclad prenup. But they say prenups are toilet paper. That's what they say. That's what my man Zero says. The prenup is toilet paper. So we don't know. We shall see. But without further ado, I'm going to bring my special guest in here, and I dropped the ball. I didn't get a chance to speak to him in the back before the show, so hopefully he's up and ready to go. Hasani Ali, what's going on?
What's going on, brother Bernard? How you doing?
Doing great. Glad you're here. I saw the last email you sent me. Like after I sent you the email, just to confirm, make sure we were still good. Man, I started watching the movie, fell asleep, woke up, and didn't see your email until this morning when you was asking me, did I have any extra, any specific questions I was going to be asking. So, but
Yeah, it's
no,
all good. No big deal.
it'll be a free flowing conversation. So, but
Yeah, let's get it.
we're gonna talk about this, and we're gonna get into this because you said something extremely interesting, and it piqued a lot of people's attention the last time you were on the show. I don't know what the subject was, but you were pointed out that there's this thing that seems mythical that everybody talk about in this space. Or you could do a private marriage, or you could do this, or you could do that. is interesting because here we got somebody who has essentially done it or is essentially doing it. So just where did all that start? Well, let's back up some. Let's back up some. Let's back up a little bit. I'm gonna pull a O'Shea here. How did you even find this space? This whole Black Manosphere space and all this mess we be getting into over here. How'd you even locate all of this before we even get going into that?
Man, to be completely honest, I think the first person I ran into was O'Shea. Ran into O'Shea. I was in the office, and he was doing some kind of controversial topic, and I was like, man, let me see what this is about. So as it got to rattling off, I was like, this brother kind of got some points, and I think he was doing something political, talking about conservatism, anti-liberal type of rhetoric, and so I was like, you know what? Let me see what his brother's, let me investigate him a little bit. So I started, checking out his videos, and I was with it ever since. Became a volunteer contributor to the Negro Manosphere blog site, and then just started, trickling from there. Ran into Angry Man, ran into Obsidian. When you came on the scene, I definitely started peeping. As time started going on, I definitely was tuning into the show. I just couldn't contribute as much. And like we had the conversation a couple weeks ago, I was, working my way as an exit, from corporate America. So the more I was more free in my responsibilities, the more I could contribute to the show. And basically that's how I got here. And now I have my own YouTube channel as well.
Oh yeah, we gonna definitely promote that as things get going. Now, one thing that's interesting here when we talk about the off the grid marriages and everything.
Yep.
You had said the thing that just popped out. You said your kids don't even got birth certificates.
That is correct.
How does that even work?
So basically, if you think about what a birth certificate is, it's a documentation of a live birth. So that's what it seems. That's what it appears to be on the surface, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit more to it about birth certificates that a lot of us, weren't educated on. And when you think about anything that you sign over to the government, you don't really own. So when you sign sign your certificate to your child, so your child's birth certificate, they're basically a warden of the state. When you register your vehicle, they can take it at any time. Your marriage, they control what goes on in your marriage. And so this is all about documentation and paperwork. So if you think about the Amish community or, other tribal communities, a lot of them don't have birth certificates. Why? Because they don't want the courts, the federal or state courts to have jurisdiction over their lives. And a lot of people just out of habit, just willingly sign over everything that they, sign over all over their endeavors, to the state. With cars, you kind of don't have a choice, but with your children and your marriage, you do have a choice. And so that's why, when you have issues with CPS, Child Protective Services, the first thing they ask for is that birth certificate and their social security number. Why? Because they have a contract with the state. That's why they feel the need that if they don't like what you're doing with your children, they can take them away from you.
Well, what happens? They come, they ask for that shit, and then you just be like, "I ain't got it." Like, how did that even work?
So, I mean, if that was a case in particular with me, I would let them know up front. Like, my child doesn't have a contract with the state. You can't take them because you don't have an agreement, with the state, with the government. Long story short. We can get into all the technicalities like the QSIP number that's sitting on your birth certificate that's tied to the stock market. We can get into all that another time. But yeah, when you don't sign away the child's jurisdiction to the courts, they have no contract with the courts. Just like with private marriage, if you don't give away your jurisdiction to the courts, they can't tell you how to run it. And so when you provide the correct paperwork or don't provide any at all, that gives you your own jurisdiction to run it yourself. A lot of people have private contracts when it comes to marriage, And excuse me. So, and, when they decide if they do split or if something happens to a spouse, they have it in their wills. They have it, in their paperwork, how property, assets, children, all that is supposed to be divided up once a person goes. And it's, um, and they follow it based on, it's the documents notarized. They have, your witnesses. So it goes as follows. You just have to file that paperwork correctly and make sure you put it in the right people's hands. So in case something does happen.
All right, so right now, what about you? I take it you got a birth certificate and social security number and all that for you, seeing as you were
Yeah,
a
yeah,
born
I have
citizen
it, but
of the United States. You got all that.
right, I had to have it, and so what I did, I renounced mine, but my children never had one, and so my parents didn't know. Birth certificates weren't really a thing until till around 1915 because you needed them, in order for employment at the time, and then as they started getting a little bit more complicated as time went along, and when people were having children, they just, they put it on us like, hey, sign this documentation, just to show that, child live birth was born here, that kind of stuff. And people just kind of went along with it.
All right, now, so how does that work? With the woman, the whole marriage thing. How did that work? How do you essentially do that? What kind of contract are y'all under? And some people say, why even bother with a contract? But what kind of contract y'all under? Cause how long you been married?
I've been married to my wife for 5 years.
Been married for 5 years. Okay, so y'all
Correct.
got some kind of contract that you drew up yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that, it's your marriage. So draft it how you want to. The thing that makes it official is you get it authenticated with a notary. You bring a notary. You bring I mean, two notaries couldn't hurt, but you bring an official notary. Make sure you have a witness. Make sure she has a witness. And once everything is signed, you can file it with your county. You can file it with your county, just like any other kind of contract. And that from that point forward, it's notarized. Like for in our situation, our contract is with our tribal government, and so we're part of the Aboriginal Republic of North America. But for everyone else, you can do a private contract and register with your state.
How did that work? You said you're a part of the, and I did wake up and was writing down some questions about that.
No, you're right.
But the Aber. So you're what's called a sovereign citizen, if I understand that right, or no?
Not a sovereign citizen, but basically, the Aboriginal Republic of North America gives you dual citizenship, pretty much. And so, basically, what we teach, the so-called African American, is basically you to grant you your rights back. And so, not only do we teach how to have marriages without the jurisdiction of the courts, we show you how to set up your finances correctly, so you're not being taxed, especially if you have child support, that kind of thing. Not saying that you shouldn't be paying it if you have it, but we do debt elimination, student loans, mortgages, auto loans, that kind of thing, because a lot of those contracts are fraudulent. But basically, we're teaching our folks to be autonomous.
Uh-huh.
And so just given the rights that were given to us as the original folks of the Americas, a lot of us were already here in America. Not all of us came off that slave ship. And so based on the treaties that were set in place back in the 1700s, a lot of that stuff traced back to us.
This is where this get kind of deep, because how do you go about? Yeah, this might be a lot. How you go about
go ahead.
proving? How you go about proving that you were or your people was already here, or does it even matter? Like, so let's just say if you are direct descendants of slaves, but you're claiming to be an Aboriginal, then how do you even go about proving that?
Well, in this case, it wouldn't matter because it's a political thing. It's not necessarily the genealogy. This is basically, we're setting up all the indigenous rights for all black folks in America, because for a lot of us, we won't be able to trace it back.
Right. Right. Right.
So we're basically, for those who are interested, you sign, you get with a Aboriginal lawyer. You kind of get a feel for what we're about, what you need to contribute. Basically the benefits. You do your you do your research, you take an exam, and if you're a good fit, then you become an addition. And so again, it's not necessarily you were truly an Aboriginal of the Americas or you were a slave. It's just as long as you understand what our political stances are, is that we were some of the original folks here in America, and that those indigenous rights were taken away from us, ironically through paperwork. Then you're signing up to the idea that you're trying to become autonomous and work your rights back. Grant yourself the rights that you were supposed to have in the first place.
Okay. Now, what's the difference between being a sovereign versus Moor versus indigenous, or just some hoteps dodging contracts? That's because all that get lumped in. You
Yeah, it does.
just
A lot of it does, but the whew, that's actually a loaded question, because
yeah, I know,
I
I know.
because there are a lot of Moors in Detroit and a lot of sovereign citizens. I believe with the sovereign citizen piece, I think you're more of a loner. You know how the Moors actually have a group. Actually have like a hierarchy that would, I believe they have like a sheik. They have a hierarchy and command. Same with us. We have a chief. We have our native command. But as far as a sovereign citizen, I think that's literally just a lone wolf that studies the documents, the Black's Law verbiage, all that good stuff, and they kind of just fend for themselves, which is kind of dangerous, because if you don't know what you're doing, then you're kind of asked out. But some people do choose to go that route, and if it works for them, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, what was I? I was about to get to another one. Well, no. Well, let's look at it like this. As far as the the Aboriginals, I take it people who claim that, I take it as all different types of beliefs and ideologies. I mean, you liable to have Christians that doing it, Muslims doing it, some
Yep.
some of the I forget what to call them, and I apologize. The black the black Israelites, the Hebrews,
The Hebrew Israelites. Yep.
Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, I started jokingly calling them Hebrew lights, and then I forgot what they were actually called. I just started saying Hebrew lights,
Right.
but yeah, so you could very well be all that and then still be Aboriginal and everything, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our Constitution and our code of conduct and our protocols are more towards the ideology of the Muslim faith, just because the brother who started it, Dr. Ali Muhammad, started in the Nation of Islam. But you don't have to necessarily be, Muslim in order to join, the tribe. It's just that that's the based on that's based on the ideologies that he brought forth, and just the laws and um the protocols that are forth are just, with the Muslim faith, are usually the I won't say the strictest, but they kind of don't leave much room for a gray area, kind of like a lot of like the Christian religion, or the other folks, where there's kind of gray area between subject matter. It's like this kind of straight black and white. And so as long as you're able to concede to those protocols, then you're straight.
Falcon Black on some fuckery. He said Hebrew Israelites marrying many white women as concubines. Is that true?
I
You
don't
know
know about
anything
that
about
one. I have no
that?
idea about that one.
you, you down there on some fuckery?
Because that's one thing we do not do. We strictly our folks.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. No, I always found it. Yeah, I'm gonna do an interview with a Hebrew Israelite sooner or later. There's some questions I got to ask them too. But
Yeah, please let me know, because that had me scratching my scratching my head.
yeah. Well, one thing I do notice, whether it's Nation of Islam, whether Israelites, because we talk about a lot of female fuckery and all that going on here. But we
Right.
do notice with Nation of Islam or the Hebrew Israelites that the women, at least publicly, seem to be some well behaved, well mannered, quiet, tempered, convenient women that
Right.
But and so like with the Aboriginals, like that, this question may not add up because Aboriginals, it can go either way. You can claim that, but then technically live whatever life you want to live because it ain't
Right.
it's no set of dictates beyond that. If I understand that right,
Right. Well, here's the thing, because we're still
it just
kind of new. We've been in operation for about 12 years now, and so basically we have our Aboriginal lawyers all across the country, and so we're putting it in place where we may not be able to, if you were to commit some kind of act of, I wouldn't say treason, but if you're not living how you're supposed to, I mean, you definitely will be exiled, if need be, because we have people. I just had to cut somebody out a couple weeks ago, where my man's got his girlfriend pregnant, didn't plan on marrying her, and now he's looking at other chicks. You know, um, and basically it was like, bro, like if you knew you weren't gonna commit to this woman, why did you even um, stay in a relationship or whatever, blah blah blah. But it's holding people accountable. You know what I mean? Same thing with sisters trying to commit paternity fraud. You're gonna get all those type of people in your camp, and so you have to slowly weed them out as I start showing their true colors. That's gonna be with anybody. Just like when people get a new job somewhere, they're in their best behavior until they get the job, and then a few months in, they're stealing supplies from the office and taking long lunch breaks. You just you know what I'm saying. So
yeah.
you just gotta as those people come, you just gotta weed them out and call them out when you see them doing something. And if they don't want to comply, you boot them out.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all like the stream. Like the stream. Hit the like button. I was late hitting the like button my damn self. I came in late. Was late clicking it on my own video. So yeah, we had 109 people watching, 67 likes. Y'all go ahead and get those likes up. That's actually not a bad average though. With the where the likes are at, we normally be at barely 50%. So
Right.
that's
That's
not
actually
bad.
that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, percentage wise, that ain't bad at all. That ain't
Right.
bad at all. So how did that play out though? Like was your wife, was she already just on board with this 100%, or you just met her, she ain't know nothing about none of this, and you just told her this how it's gonna be? God damn it, we ain't going down to no courthouse. We doing it this way.
Well, I mean, at that time, I met my wife when I was 21. So we've been together for 10 years, and I didn't find out about and it's Arna for short. I didn't find out about Arna until maybe a few years in, and as I was doing my research and digging into it, my wife got pregnant. And when I told her this is what we were doing, she was very hesitant because she didn't know. Obviously, when you don't know, because I told her, no birth certificate, none of that. She kind of freaked out, like, hold on, what you talking about? No birth certificate. So I broke it down for her, like, look, this is what a birth certificate is. This is why you don't need it, and here's why Arna is going to basically supplement the rights granted to our son that that he rightfully deserves, and we're not gonna make him a warden of the state, but give a contract with the state. And as she saw me sign up and go through all the paperwork, all the documents, she saw I changed my name legally, with no issues. She got right on board. Sometimes when you bring an idea to somebody and they don't understand it, you have to show by example. And once she saw me go through everything with basically with no complications, she was like, okay, that makes sense, I'm with it. Still a little hesitant, but as she got her documentation, her paperwork, once she starts seeing that tax exempt ID card, so when she started working, then she was like, okay, I'm on board. So
Okay, yeah, she
it's
was she was able, she had to see that she was still able to work and do everything and
Absolutely. That's all it is. Sometimes you got to see it to believe it. And I wouldn't expect anybody to just jump on board without knowing any information. And that's what you do as a leader. You say, hey, These are the facts. These are, the benefits, the pros, the cons. We talk about freedom all the time, and freedom isn't free. It's not going to be an easy process. And so, when I explained it to her, I broke everything down to the T, and this is why we're taking this direction. And she was with it. She didn't really give me much pushback. She just, she was hesitant at first because she didn't understand what the ideology was and why we were going this route.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's one thing that you said when you had hopped on the panel last time. You were like, wait, hold on, let me address something. Melody, get them rainbow colors out of there now. What's going on? That's a little. A suspect combination of colors that you just put right there. We don't do that here. Now, the wrong show, wrong show.
Right.
Put that old suspect arrangement of colors. So I don't know what you think this is. Yeah, right there. We can go with that one. We can go with that one.
That's too funny. But
But
yeah, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
damn, what was I doing? What was I doing? What was I doing? Where was I at? Okay, I remember you said something when you was on the show the last time. You had said something like, you got a woman really submitting when she accepts the marriage contract. I mean, accept a non-state sanctioned contract.
Yeah, because
Essentially, yeah. Explain that,
she,
break that down, because you
yeah,
kind of
because
dropped some
she,
fire on us in the midst of dudes talking shit about women. You was like, nah, I really got the real deal over here. So yeah, go
but no,
ahead
and
and
that's the thing is when she relinquishes her rights to you, that's how you know she's with you for the long haul. You know what I'm saying? And so when we talk about it, you always hear, brothers like, I can make a woman do whatever. I can, get a woman to, make me pancakes, and take my car to the car wash, and I, blow her friends back out while she gone, and she don't, you know what I'm saying? Like the ultimate form is like, look, if you want to be with me, here's what it requires. Sign these documents and not your own, and we'll be straight. And I don't mean, trying to, rule her with an iron fist. Like that's not what this is about. But when she signs that paper, she's agreeing that you are her, husband, protector, leader, all that stuff. And so it's different when she doesn't have any reinforcements. So like, let's say in our
oh,
contract,
go ahead.
no, say so let's say in our contract, if we were to split, we already have, you know uh designated, times for our, child visitation, all that stuff, how everything will be split up. You know, basically, we have an entire protocol for if that were to happen, God forbid. And so it's basically just setting yourself up to say, hey, you know, I'm willing to take care of you and provide for you, but you will not have any outside reinforcements via the courts, child protective services, no tariffs, no other forms of child support. We gonna do this the indigenous way, and if you're not with it, you can bounce.
Mm.
Simple as that.
I was just about to ask you about American laws. Now, obviously, with all of that, you just can't be outright breaking American laws. Like she can call the police on your ass. If you.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
obviously, but yeah, like I'm saying, it's just that when it comes to that marriage piece, if we, what I'm saying, if we were to decide to split, we don't have to go down to the Coleman Young building here in Detroit and hear the judge tell me what to do with my children. No contract, no jurisdiction. So
Yeah,
you should be,
that's where it's at. That's
yeah,
that part. That's the main part that made me really say, okay, we got to do this interview, because I hate the simple fact that two people in a relationship, the relationship end, regardless of who fault it is, more times than not, the kids are going with the woman unless the man fight like hell, or unless she got some serious wearing it on her sleeves type of dysfunction.
right.
Then that will just equalize it if she's a real dysfunctional woman. But
Yeah, and like I said, it's a way to protect yourself as a man. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to go to the courts and go 12 rounds with three different people,
man,
to prove that you're a legit father to your children. You know what I'm saying? For
And
most
don't forget
people,
the
you should
thousands of dollars you got to spend too on that shit to
exactly
prove
and
that you're a decent father. Yeah.
right, exactly. And from my understanding, you have in a lot of cases you have to pay for her fees as well, don't you?
Some cases, yeah, I didn't. I ended up not having to, but I've heard that is a thing. So we know
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah,
you have
that's
to,
a
you have to pay your fees, her fees, fight the prosecutor, the judge, everybody that she brings along to coincide with her story. And so when you decide to get in a relationship with someone and have children, you should have a mature enough woman to where if y'all do split, y'all can handle it civilly. A lot of these
mm-hmm.
cases, people get to fucking and a child comes and now you're trying to make it work, you know, after while before the child gets here, and then it goes all the shit, goes to shit from there. But it's like, look, if you find that, mature woman, I know for the people who are like there aren't any out there, but if once
Yeah.
you find once you find that that mature woman and they're like, look, this is not going to work. Apparently, we're not gonna be able to make it. You should be able to say like, look, we can end this civilly. We don't have to go go anywhere. We don't have to show out in court. We can dock up the papers how we need to. Hopefully, it wouldn't get to that point. If you're married, because you probably should be seeing some kind of counsel anyway. But you know, a lot of people don't want to put in the long time work, because I mean, marriage is work, just like any relationship. You're with somebody for a long time. People gonna change, circumstances gonna change, but the biggest problem we have in our communities is we don't have any conflict resolution skills. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people, when a lot of people don't, when they're not getting what they want or they're ready to move on, and this is typically on the ladies, but they typically try to find an outside force that will help muscle their way into their next move,
Mm-hmm.
which is immature. I mean, they know they have the power to, but this particular paperwork will help, kind of put that to cease. Because you don't have anywhere that you can go. I mean, yeah, you can call the police, but when it comes to handling your children, don't have a case.
Black Wolf Inc. in the building came through with a super chat, says just trying to get the tip jar full. I appreciate that. My man Sir Tice came through, says salute Bernie and Hassani. Good info. But Hassani, wouldn't the lack of birth certificates hinder in acquiring a passport or a driver's license? That
Nope.
question is to you. All right, explain.
So even though you don't have a birth certificate or a passport, you have something. What we have is called a birth affidavit. And so a lot of indigenous tribes, in the country, or even the fake ones, a lot of the Amish don't really have passports, but as long as you have a some form of a birth record, it doesn't have to be a birth certificate. You can draw. We have our own documentation where we show that the birth was registered with at our headquarters. Now, as far as the average person, you have to do your research as to who you would authenticate your birth records with, but at the same time, there are ways around getting an actual birth certificate. As long as you have birth records, you should be able to get a social security card, driver's license, passport, all that kind of thing. A lot of people are starting to get into that international license, international passport. That's not necessarily my wheelhouse, but I definitely know that's definitely something that people are getting into. But yeah, as long as you have an actual birth record, so, obviously time, date, name of the parents. On our affidavit, we do the name of the grandparents, to trace, lineage and ancestry. But if you look at, I'm trying to think of a particular, uh, a particular community that does, their own birth records. But they're definitely possible. As long as you have a birth record, then you should be able to get all the documentation you need in order to get a driver's license and a passport.
All right. I just thought about something. Let's just say y'all separate, all right?
Hmm.
And let's just say y'all come up with a contract or whatever where it's written in the contract that y'all gonna divide up the kids in this way, where she's gonna have them X amount of time, you're gonna have them X amount of time, but she
Right.
technically has them more than you. What's at that point? Even though y'all had a contract, at that point when y'all separate and she got kids, what's technically stop? Oh wait, no, I think I just answered my own question. I was about to say, what's technically stopping her from just saying, "Forget it, I'm going down to the court to try to get child support"? Is the mere fact that they don't have birth certificates that
because
one
they can't.
thing?
Exactly. So you can't. How you
Yeah,
because think about how the courts work. In order, the reason why the child support machine is so prominent is because they get a cut off of that.
yeah, yeah.
So
I was just thinking, what if she just said, "Forget it," and just go try to do it anyway? It's gonna be so much red tape because yeah,
exactly.
she don't got nothing. Don't got the kids documented. What were you about to say? I cut you off. Go ahead.
I totally forgot, but that's the thing is that you like what can she fight against you with because the court's gonna look at her like, well, where's this child's birth certificate? And and I'm not wishing this on anybody who would try to do this, but it will kind of put her in hot water, like why does this child have a birth certificate, social security cards, that kind of thing, and so then she has to explain herself, then go through the hassle of trying to get all those documents. It like I said, it becomes just as much of a hassle for her as it would, when a brother fights in the courts trying to, prove that he's a worthy father for his children. So, again, this is something that, a lot of us aren't given, information on because, they definitely want us to stay in the jurisdiction of the courts. And we don't have to do that. The idea is that you're supposed to be the protector, the leader, the provider of the house. But if you got Big Daddy government just waiting for the woman to say she's not happy, then what will be the point? And again, for all my MGTOW brothers, for all the people who are in the red pill community, I definitely get the plight of why you wouldn't sign up for something for it, because you hear all the horror stories of what happened to brothers when they sign those papers. But guess what? We do have an alternative solution, and it just takes a little bit extra research. But for those who do want families and are a little bit hesitant, about getting into those kind of agreements, you can make your own private contract, and you can definitely, what I'm saying, uh, have that marriage, go without having the hassle of dealing with the courts. When you sign that paperwork off, like I said about the birth certificate, when you sign off, that paperwork to your state, they own that marriage. And that's why married couples get tax breaks and all that stuff. We know all that, but the second you know a couple splits, the courts look at that couple as children, and they're like, okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna give her this, and you're gonna have to pay for this. So
Mm-hmm.
get your jurisdiction back. Give your power back. You don't need another party to say this is how your relationship should go. And I know some people disagree with like the private contracts. I know people call it the spiritual marriage, but guess what? Even if you don't necessarily agree with doing paperwork, at least do it right by saying, I'll at least sign this private contract, because at least it's on paper. The only problem I have with spiritual marriages is that they're not on paper. And when things aren't signed, when things aren't official, people tend not to, you know, um, adhere to the agreement, to that verbal agreement. Put it on
Right.
paper and say, what I'm saying, I'm here, I'm committed. I actually signed, my name on the dotted line. And that, what I'm saying, and that's how we, do right by for everyone involved, not just the woman, but if you have kids, it's just that you're actually, vowed to say what you're gonna stand on. So, definitely something for brothers to look into if that's what they want. We got the information, we got the tools. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we got the information, we got the tools. You know what I'm saying? So, put your rights back in your own hands.
Right on. Right on. That's I'm getting distracted by a comment down there, but I'm about to look at this comment right here.
No, go ahead.
Black Urus. He says, like I might got a little bit of pushback, so this might be a good time to open it up. Might be a good time to open up. He said, Black Uru Strike says, you never hear attorneys back up the legal viability of these non-state sanctioned marriages, particularly when the woman elect to challenge the agreements with the courts and government. So I do want to I think I want to hear Black Uru come up and argue that point against you. But go ahead and respond to that. Let's see.
So if I'm hearing him correctly, he's saying that attorneys don't tend to acknowledge those contracts. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's what he's getting at. I think well, he kind of just touched on that, but he's saying that they tend to not honor those contracts. Yeah, that's what he's
But
saying.
okay, but again, if you don't have a marriage license, what does the lawyer really have to stand? What does the lawyer have to stand on legally? You know what I mean? If the like, what I guess what would she be going to the courts to fight for? If she's filing for a divorce, then what exactly would the lawyer have to fight on? They don't have a marriage license, showing that they have a state sanctioned marriage. So exactly what would the lawyer be fighting for? I guess I need a little bit more clarification on the question.
Black Uru, you want to come up and clarify that one? Let me know in the chat, Black Uru, if you want to come up. I dropped that link in there for you. Let's look at this one. I don't know. Whenever I see the images like that, I think, okay, this person is a troll. But anyway, but yeah, it says stop trying to be monogamous with BS contracts that don't screw your kids for life because you don't want to pay. Huh?
What?
Yeah. See, I thought the question made more sense until I highlighted it. I scanned it. And the don't want to pay like what the hell? Okay, I don't. Okay,
I don't know
okay.
what that means, but I guess I'll respond to it.
Yeah,
My
you give it a
children,
try.
my children have insurance. My children go to private schools. My children, you know what I'm saying? My children have everything they need. So my children live like my whole family lives with me. So I guess I don't know what I'm avoiding to pay.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, 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 I don't really get that one.
Okay, Anthony Southeast. You said I need to turn my gain up on my mic a little bit, or maybe need to speak closer to the mic. How do I sound, everybody? Because I had Kuda on yesterday, and Kuda was coaching me on how to get my mic, where it need to be. So this where Kuda told me I need to have it, so I was trusting his word. But I don't know. I had to go back and re-listen to it and see what's going on. But I sound okay to you? Do I sound loud enough to you?
You're fine. You're straight.
Oh, okay,
And
cool.
here's the thing, brother Bernard. I guess for those who have opposition to this, the point of, and this is in my particular situation, is the reason why we have a tribe is because you're not in this by yourself. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, you have people to hold all sides accountable. So it's not just you have a private contract, you go off and do what you do. No, you still have to report to people, but those people look like you. There's no side deals or people having other interests, but the idea is that you should have the autonomy and the maturity to be able to handle your relationships.
Okay.
And that's, what I'm saying, like, and we're looking at the what if divorce and all this, that, and the third, is that I'm saying you should be able to be mature enough to say, I can be in a long-term relationship with this person, and if not, we should be able to handle this civilly. And I
Right.
think I think that's kind of what the point that people are missing, is that you know we're looking at the case of what happens if she goes AWOL or whatever, because the one of the processes with our tribe is both sides do get vetted. You get vetted heavy. It's not like you just, hey, you want to get married, come on in, and
Yeah.
we'll do your paperwork and you're on your way. No, like you still have to get vetted to make sure everybody is mentally, emotionally, stable to handle a long-term relationship. And that's kind of where people are screw are messing up long term, is no one's getting vetted. You like somebody, you fuck them, you keep fucking them, oh, I guess we'll be together now. Stuff goes left. I didn't know she was crazy. You knew. You just kept, you was like fucking her. So
Yeah. What about that one right there? They said you can mess them up for scholarships and stuff like that. any truth or validity in that. And y'all asking some, I got to super chat some of these good questions now. Y'all bullshitting. Yeah, I have to drop something in there for these good ones. But what about that one? Did you mess them up for scholarships? And she said something that perfect blackness was going on. Um,
What was the question? One more time. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to find it again now.
As far as scholarships, as far as the college universities?
Yeah, I believe that's what she was getting at, or he was getting at, or I'm not even sure.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's a
there it
good
is. There it
question.
is. You mess your kids over for scholarships, visa and legal contracts. I think visas and legal contracts. Yeah.
Says who and how?
That's a question they throw. I'm about to drop
No,
the
I,
link in
you
the
know,
chat because people got
because here,
questions.
oh, I can't see it, but here and here's the thing is that again, we're talking about the author as far as the marriages. I mean, with Arna, you have dual citizenship. You have citizenship with the tribe, and you still have your rights as an American. Like I said, I still have a passport. I still have my driver's license. I still have all those things. Now, as far as scholarships, I mean, my children are 6 and 3, so we'll visit that when that time gets there. But at the same time, I mean, that's something that could definitely be figured out. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to stop them if they want to go to college, they can go to college. I mean, you can still go to school without having a birth certificate. So I guess what does that necessarily have to do with anything? If you choose to contract, you know, um, with the educational system, no one's stopping you. But again, we're preventing that. Um, we're preventing the fraudulence, I guess is the best way to say, for a lot of those contracts that puts people in the financial messes that they're in. But again, kids want to go to school, ain't no biggie. There's always red tape around everything. I mean, you don't see Native Americans struggling to go to college. They have their own colleges. We have our own university. But if they want to go to a PWI, what's stopping them? Bernard, can you hear me?
My bad, man. I went on mute and then forgot that I was on mute, but I was sitting here
Oh, you're right.
talking. Yeah, but like I was saying, the link is in the chat for those of you. Some of y'all giving some pushback, so that's a So yeah, y'all can definitely come up and give your pushback or ask your questions or do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do because I know these concepts are new concepts for a lot of people. A lot of this is new on me as well, but I'm hearing it out. I'm definitely hearing it out, but
Yep.
yeah. So the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat for y'all to come on up. I know Black Uru said he wanted to come up and have some questions about whether or not the court is truly going to honor it, but I think you got a pretty good rebuttal on that one because it's hard for them to not honor it because there's no contract. I mean, I'm trying to think of how a woman could loophole her way out of it. I understand with the kids is going to be hard. With the kids it's going to be hard because she's going to be showing up with a looking like she got a damn undocumented kid. Well, she got evidence. Well, like you said, she got to have some kind of evidence of the birth that the kid was born in the U.S. Like it's not going to be a situation like that. Like she just showed up with an undocumented kid.
Right. And again, that question goes that, what would the attorney be fighting for? If she's filing for divorce to get alimony or some kind of spousal support, she don't have a contract with the state. So why would the state get involved? Again, the point of it is to have your own jurisdiction, so you can have the maturity to move how you want to without the interference of the state.
Yeah, Texas NP says best way is prevention. Don't get married. But you didn't add in there don't get married, don't have kids. Because if you have kids and you're not married, then I mean, or don't got no contract drawn up like what he talking about, you're creating the same situation that you would want to avoid. Because
Ex-
I'm assuming you're
exactly.
dealing with women. You probably got a girlfriend, or you probably got some women you're having sex with. So you're playing the game either way, and especially if you're a man who do want a kid and do want a family, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. And let's just say you got that woman and she's on your program and y'all not married and y'all got kids and y'all got babies crawling around that house. Shit go left, that's your ass. She taking the kids and she taking and she getting child support for kids that you was raising. That's your kids. So
Right. And
so
and and
this
here's the
will
thing.
protect you in that sense. It will not
And
not just protect you from having to pay, but it will protect you from losing your kids. Like, that's where I'm at with. That's my main thing. I want a
right. And
contract drawn up by me saying I'm gonna have the kids this much if we break up. You're gonna have them that much. And 50-50 down the middle is fair to me, but something you may draw it. You may want it 75-25. But you'll be drawing it up the way that you like it.
right. And
But
can you hear me?
thank you for your super chat though, brother. Thank you, appreciate the super chat. Go ahead, Asani.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, go ahead. You
No,
got
I
it.
was just gonna say, this isn't for everybody. Like I said, I'm not here to recruit. I'm not here to, force marriage down brothers' throats. I'm just simply giving information that, hey, look, if you want to get married, if you want to have a child, there's definitely a way, to protect yourself in the form of, of documentation. And basically just providing information. If you're anti-marriage, I'm not gonna fight you. Like I'm with you. Like whatever lifestyle you choose for your happiness, I'm with it. This is just for the brothers who do want to be, who do have interest in that route. Because a lot of people I see over here, be on Kevin Samuel's stream, talking the relationship talk. So you know what? Why not bring the info?
Right on. Now I'm gonna get to this super chat in a little bit, but while we at it, what I do want to see happen, good people assembled here, I'm dropping the link right now to Hasani Ali's YouTube channel called Coach Ali's Corner, if I got that right.
Yep.
I'm typing it up, Coach. I can't type, can't spell, can't do nothing right now. Here we go.
It's the
I
morning.
got it. All right, hold on. Give me one more second. I gotta subscribe. There we go. All right, now let me copy. Oh shoot, still ain't got it right. Still ain't got it right. 1 second, good people. 1 second, good people. Gonna get a good copy and paste in. I see you. I see you, Black Quizzard. I'm gonna get to that. I see you. But I do gotta make sure we do this right here. Go subscribe to Coach Ali's Corner. Go check this brother out. He's new to this space. You've seen him on O'Shea. He's dropping knowledge and good information here. Make sure you go subscribe to him and check him out. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't go and do it. Go ahead and shut it up. Shut it. Cut that out, Complex. Cut it out. Cut it out. I'm getting it together. But yeah, go check the brother out. Go check the brother out. And without further ado, okay, man, y'all be killing me with these names. What did that say? What did that say? I'm just gonna skip that first one. Amin Ra. You pretty good. You probably what is his first name? Oh, can you see my screen?
Can I see it?
Yeah.
No, I can't see any of the chats or anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, cool. That's fine. All right, so I'm just gonna go with Amin Ra because I don't know what that say. I don't know what that first name say, but Amin Ra, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. He says Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. The contract clause provides that no state may pass a law impairing the obligation of contracts. You know anything about that?
Can you repeat that one more time?
He says Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. The contract clause provides that no state may pass a law impairing the obligation of contracts.
So I guess what's the point I guess he's trying to make with that verbiage? I mean,
I don't know.
It's not an obligation.
I don't know.
It's strictly voluntary. So I guess what is he trying to refute?
Yeah, he super chatted that. So I'm not 100% sure. He super chatted it, so thank you very much for your super chat. But I'm not really sure what he's getting at right there. Not 100% sure. Uh, Black Quizzer came through with a heavy-handed super chat. I appreciate that. He says marriage is a profitable industry for the state. It sounds like you're saying acknowledging. It sounds like you're saying. It sounds like you are saying acknowledging your sovereignty affords you all the benefits of citizenship without having to acquiesce. I have to believe the state wouldn't like a nation within a nation.
I mean, think about it. There's several tribal governments around the country. There's 500 tribal governments, or maybe 300. I'm sorry, but there's a couple hundred governments around the country that have the exact same protocol. You know what I mean? And it's not that. And yes, you're correct. Marriage is a profitable industry. So why not take your power back and say, look, I'm not going to deal with the state. I'm going to put the jurisdiction in my own hands. And again, you can still put everybody on your insurance. You can still, purchase a home, purchase a car, everything to that degree. You can still live the life. You're just not. And I know the concept seems foreign, but hey, I've never had an issue, enrolling my children into things. With the vaccine requirements for school, we have exemptions for that. All we had to do was sign a waiver, before we, when he was going to his pre-K or whatever. I mean, there's documentation, there's loopholes around everything. And so, like I said, this is just for brothers, to have a way of protection, if they decide to go this route.
What about credit? Like, will your kids grow up and be able to have, credit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, which is funny you mentioned that. We're doing both of us, we're putting our children as authorized users on our credits, so by the time they're 18 they'll have a sufficient enough credit score and they can acquire a credit card or anything to that degree. But yeah, you could definitely have credit.
Yeah, I'm dragging my feet on that. My kids, they supposed to be authorized user on my credit cards as well. I'm boiling on that. That's something I probably hop on that today. Probably hop on that today. That's a lot of shit I need to take care of. But Dollar Washer in the building with the super chat. He said it boils down to people having a real conversation when they first meet each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That way everything is understood from the door. Yeah, that's one thing that matters, because if you get somebody who's willing to comply with all of this, if you meet a woman that's willing to comply with all of this, chances are you just have a naturally compliant woman. So that
Right.
decreases the probability that you're gonna run into some problems. But good old Black Pill Zero with the doom and gloom. No, just playing. He says, Zero says, great info. He said, pussy will still win, but still, it's good to let people know what they're up against. Men who still choose marriage are choosing to fail. Dun, dun, dun.
Here, and
Shout
you
out
know
to
what?
Zero. Shout out
And
to Zero.
and here's the thing. You know what? I'll grant him that argument. Let's say everybody who signs up for marriage fails, right? So for the brothers who want to protect themselves, would you rather go into a a boxing match with 12-ounce gloves or 4-ounce gloves? Now, for those who don't know, and I mean, obviously in boxing, you would want the gloves so you can hit harder. But again, when you don't know this information, you go in blind. Think about all the brothers who get married every day and sign that dotted line. You know what I'm saying? It's better that if you want to get into this, arena, then it's better to say you know, I would rather get cut several times rather than just completely, sliced in half. And I think, for those who are just like, you will lose regardless. I mean, find a way to, refute the paperwork. You know what I mean? So again, if she does leave, you know, what child support can she get from the state?
No, the only person who can argue that it's all a loss either way, so just avoid everything altogether, is that guy who, one, does not want kids, don't even want don't ever want. I mean, if a guy draws a hard line in the sand that I'm never going to be in a actual relationship with a woman, I'm never going to have kids, I'm never going to have a family, because some men do want families. If you draw
Right.
that hard line that I don't care, I'm 25 right now, I'm okay with going all the way to 75, never having a family, and you have the discipline to make sure that you're strapping up, using condoms, and not going to get nobody pregnant, then like that person can make this claim. It can make the claim that it's better to just avoid it all. Contract, private contract, state sanctioned, regardless. Avoid all of it and just live your free single bachelor life, and and just have a casual sex partner here and there. You can make that claim, if you don't never want to, never want a family. But
Right. You could.
those of us that do, I mean, I've had a family, I've been married, and I got custody, so I'm still on the job, so to speak. So I mean,
Right.
but so
And
going forward with me, it's not a thing, it's not a big issue. But if somebody's 30 and they've never had that, they don't have kids, they don't have a family, this is something that, but they're deadly, or I should say legitimately scared of the state sanctioned marriage. This is something, definitely something they should look at. My man Black Quizzer is saying, I'm only saying you can do that, but understand that you may be putting a target on your back as a black person. That's something significant to consider. I'm not 100% sure where he's going. He might have been piggybacking on that previous super chat. Not 100% sure where he's going there. Let
yeah,
me
and the only and the only way I'll add on to that is knowing the documentation and knowing being well versed in what you're doing. You know what I mean? When someone asks about it, you just simply say, I'm my children do not, if it's regarding birth certificates, my child does not have, a contract with the state, for, this amount, for this reason, or, my wife and I decided to do a private contract because we don't want, you know, uh, the state to have jurisdiction in my relationship or my marriage. So, you know, again, it's not like not everything's going to be, 100% foolproof, but at the same time, this will give you some armor in the fight. And like I said, for those who are in our tribe, we haven't had those issues. So would one slip through the crack? It's possible, but
mm-hmm.
to this date, we've never had anybody who've had that issue. So
Right on.
and really quickly, and again, it's about the maturity. It's about the maturity of who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? If you're at the point of marriage, then you should know that this person is compliant. Willing to go follow the protocols that you set in place, whether if you're in a tribal government or not. So again, it's a maturity factor because we're looking at it as the worst case doom and gloom scenario. The woman's going to turn left. She's going to switch on you. She's going to do X, Y, Z. And yes, that is you definitely want to always have a worst extreme case scenario. But again, if you're at the marriage point with this and she complies, like you said, most of the time you have someone who's compliant and is willing to abide by your leadership. Simple as that.
Yeah, Crimson Cure. Yeah, he's talking about sovereignty, definitely. Well, at least, well, I'll read it out because he can't see it, so I'm going to read it out for him. But she says he's talking something a bit different than what I did. I followed his Islamic rule for mine. If I'm not mistaken, he's talking about sovereignty.
Not exactly. Again, because with our tribe, I believe, and correct me, I have to do the research on my end, but I believe the difference between sovereignty and what we're doing as a tribal government is I believe tribal folks sovereign folks are typically on their own.
Oh yeah,
So
that's right. You said
so
that.
if they're in court, they don't have anybody to fight, on their behalf. They have to know all the verbiage, all the lingo of the law, and they have to defend themselves. That's my knowledge of understanding of it. But we have people who notarize your documents for you. People my wife and I, we counsel people prior to marriage. We have a whole vetting process. So again, it's not just like, oh, you want to get married? Yeah, come on down. We'll sign. It's not like Vegas where you just you come down, we sign you off, and off you on your way. Like there's still a process to it, but is being done for you by your own people, and what I'm saying, you have to still hold yourself accountable, to everyone that's involved. Because if we stamp you, that's we're putting our names, on your marriage, and people don't want to put their names associated with something sticky. And so again, I just I can't preach enough about that maturity factor. Is that you want to
Yeah.
make sure that you're dealing with somebody who, if something were to go left, you could end the relationship or the marriage civilly, you know, without any, hardcore reputable damage being done in the process.
Yeah. Zero says it's not an extreme case. Women bail out of marriages 70 to 80% of the time. Zero, be checking your email, man. I'm trying to get a another one-on-one set up, round 3 of the series that we was doing, that I'm going to change the name of, so get feminism out of the title, so to get my channel not flagged. But
Yeah, and
but
just
yeah.
and just to, and just
Oh
to
yeah, go
answer it,
ahead.
I mean, yes, because they understand that they have the muscle behind them to make that move to leave. But
Mm.
if they, if that muscle is not behind them, you know, would they be easily as readily to leave as if they had a state licensed marriage? And I think that's the point I'm just trying to drive home, is that, what I'm saying? Like, yes, in this, you know, in a regular typical situation, you know, yes, people, and I will grant you that, because women do leave, 80% of the time. And I mean, in our culture, we're not getting married that much anyway. So I really like to know exactly what those numbers are, because we do harp, 80% of marriages, you know, are, the divorces are initiated by the ladies. But I'm kind of curious to know, how many are those marriages? What are the total numbers? We're shooting out the percentage, but I mean, if there's only 4 marriages and 3 of them are divorced, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a small sample size, but I'm just curious to know, what that number is. But anyway, just going back to the main point, is that, if she don't have that power and that muscle behind her, where is she gonna go? And I don't mean that, with malice intent, but, if she do decide to leave the marriage, who is she going to get muscle from? Who is she going to get financial backing from? Because if the state doesn't have an interest in the marriage, then more likely they probably won't see the case.
Hey yo. Oh man. Hey, you know what? That's a great comment that you put there, Ayo. Yeah, I vote yes on that, instead of zero versus feminism, zero versus hope. That's what we're gonna change the title to of the series. Definitely, definitely. I could work with that. I could work with that. That definitely lines up. That definitely lines up. So yeah, thank you for that. I think we're gonna go with that. But what I was about to say to Zero is, Zero, if you're still listening, it seemed like you would be um down with this, because what he's doing and what he's talking about, it does essentially do something that you say that you hide. The thing that you highlight as the problem is that women have so much power. What he's talking about does strip the power away from the woman. It takes the state out of the situation. You see, if it gets the state out of it, then the woman has no power. So that man has the power in the situation. She's agreeing to a contract that he drew up. He, in his own way, is the big daddy government in that situation. That he's drawing up what it is. Oh, he says, I don't disagree with anything your guest is saying. Okay, cool, 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 cool. I thought you were getting pushed back. I'm getting confused. But okay, yeah, cool, cool, cool,
And you
cool.
and you know what, Bernard, and the reason why, I came on, because yes, the submission piece and the documentation thing, it definitely benefits the man. But as a man with 2 children, I got a third one due literally any day now. I got a third
Oh
boy
man,
coming. You know what I'm
congratulations
saying?
on that.
Oh, appreciate
Congratulations.
that. the thing that's gonna get us out of this lump is family, and there's no way around it.
Oh
You
man,
know,
you preaching my language, speaking my language now. Yeah.
there's literally no way around it. You know what I'm saying? The reason why other communities can jump on us the second we do something because they have the numbers. Simply because they have the numbers. Even when somebody do something wrong, they rally up, get the money up, to support, that person that's in the, involved in the incident. And in our communities, we're trying to do everything as, you know, 60 million individualists, and that's not going to work. The second you get successful, you're a target. And
Mm.
in order for us to change these situations, we got to start producing families and showing these stable structures. So if you want to change the woman's behavior, have a viable family. So a righteous dude to be like, yo, leave these thuglets alone. Marry the dude that's going to protect and provide for you. This, that, and the third. And so, with a solid father figure in the home, it definitely reduces the chances. Is it going to cure everything? No, because everybody's still their own individual. If if the if a woman sees mom doing her job day in and day out, and getting taken care of by dad, then the priorities change. The reason why everyone's kind of doing what they want to do because there's no structure in any home. So everything is the jungle. We, as a community, black folks love the no church in the wild type lifestyle.
Mm.
And then when we get burned, that's when we want to come back to the table and have a conversation. Let's just nip it in the bud and have the structure in the first place, and we wouldn't have to keep having these same conversations over and over again.
All right. JJ came through with a super chat. Appreciate that. He says, y'all be jumping in the snake pit, get bit, then come back again with some snake food and wonder why you get bit again. SYSBM. But I mean, first off, I understand completely what you're saying,
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Agree with that. But I'm just trying to figure out how does SYSBM solve that unless you're saying SYSBM slash MGTOW. Then, but if you SYSBM, that means you're dealing with American women. And if you're dealing with American women and or potentially having kids with American women, and I don't know if you've ruled out, well, I suppose he's ruled out marriage to the non-black American women. I mean, I don't know how SYSBM. I don't know what SYSBM does to solve that. That just means you're dealing with American women who, in the event that you do slip up and get one pregnant, she will have legal power over you all the same. So the SYSBM isn't a solution. If you would have said MGTOW, then there's that would have been a proper response. There says there is no MGTOW that wants to be MGTOW. It is a response. Don't know what's going on
Yeah,
there.
like I said, and again, marriage isn't for everybody. I'm not
Right.
like I
No,
said,
I
I'm
agree.
not.
Yeah. No. I was. Let me make that very clear. I don't push marriage like that. I mean, hold your thought. I just want to make sure my position is clear on this because some people get confused on that. I'm not pushing any. I'm not pushing individual men to get married. The only thing that I got towards marriage that I view marriage as a good thing is just the concept. Not even I the concept of two people, if they're going to be having children, getting together, staying together, and being committed to each other with similar goals, values, ideals, and structure. That way, those kids are being raised up in a decent way. We talk about building. The most underrated aspect of building is building people. And there's a lot of data that shows that you're better off being born black in America to a marriage or to a two-parent household than you are being born white in America to a single mother. So families matter, regardless of how you chop it up, regardless of whether it's a state sanctioned or a private contract or just two people living together and making it work. Family and structure in a household matters. We can produce the type of black people that we want to see from within with proper families. So in that sense, that's why I say families are important. Strong black families are important, or just strong families. I'm not even tripping. I ain't that dude. I know I ain't that dude. I say life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, however you see fit. So I ain't that dude who's going to have a problem with, if you got a woman of another race, from another continent, another whatever. If I see a family and some kids being raised in a structured environment, I say salute, kudos, shout out to that, salute to that. That's where I'm at with it because, I cringe every time I see, especially black boys being raised by single mothers. That's a cringe moment for me every time I see it, and I don't
Oh
like to
yeah,
see it. I
you
don't
and me
like to
both.
see it. So but I don't. I'm not saying just go and marry the random strag. I'm not saying go marry the strag, but what I am saying is that figuring out families is a major factor in the equation of solving the problems that black people have because the black people who do come up in structured families turn out significantly better than those that don't. So that's a factor in the equation that does have to get solved. It's yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. But the legally binding contract at the courthouse and all of that shit, yeah, that's a problem too. That's a problem too. But JJ came through with a super chat. Says you travel outside the matrix. DR, Brazil, Japan, Ghana. Gotcha 100%. See, I was getting confused because SYSBM doesn't necessarily mean traveling. I heard somebody explain that. SYSBM is just not dealing with American black women. So that means you're dealing with American women still. You see, so that's why I wanted that distinction made. Black Quizzard came through with a super chat. That says, "How does common law marriage or cohabitation laws affect this solution? Wouldn't this give the state leverage?" Hmm. You can tackle that one if you want to. I know you was about to say something else and I cut you off, but you can pick up wherever wherever you was at,
No,
whatever
you're
you was
good.
about.
And you know what? And that's actually a great question because again, in Michigan, a lot of states don't have that common law, the common law marriage anymore. So it's definitely something you have to look at regarding your state. But at the same time, when you have if your state does have common law marriage, and that's something you may definitely want to consider because that's a good question because that's something we've never had to necessarily deal with regarding common law marriage. But yeah, that's something I have to look into. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was going to say, Bernard, is actually I'm glad you mentioned it. Was the worst thing you hate seeing is boys raised by single moms because the biggest thing that really irks me is when I hear a woman say, what about my happiness? Why do I have to stay in a relationship, just for the children? Like my happiness is just as important. And I rebuttal with that, like, no, the fuck it's not. You have children. You're a parent. You know what I'm saying? Your children come first.
Ooh, you preaching good now.
Your children come first. You know what I'm saying? I
You
don't care.
preaching good.
If your happiness was first, you shouldn't have had them damn kids. And I'm sorry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that becomes the excuse for everything. I'm not happy, so I'm gonna leave this man and this man. I'm gonna have this man at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine, you have a little girl and multiple men are running up and in and out of the house for your mother's happiness. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
you're providing the blueprint that, okay, mama do it, so it's okay for me to do it. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And that, because fathers typically tend to understand that. If I'm not me necessarily, but if someone's dealing with a young lady who's a single father, they typically don't have women running up and down running in and out of the house, you know, um,
Right.
getting turned out, and then they be sent on their way. Usually, and I'm not saying it's not always the case, but typically, single fathers usually wait to bring their children around someone that they're dealing with to make sure the situation's right, or if they are clowning around, the kid ain't in the house. You know what I mean? Like, and these are well-to-do folks. I'm not saying people on that buffoonery shit because we do have those, but no, your children's happiness comes first. I'm sorry if you wanted to be happy and do your own thing, you shouldn't have those kids. You have 18 years to prepare them for life, and your happiness can come after that. And I'm sick and tired of single parents saying, I want to live my best life. What about your children's life? you're halfway out of here. It's their turn to be prepped for life and to give, to provide all the tools for them to make sure that they're, good products of society. We don't look at our children as products. What I'm saying, like, when we refer to people as product of our environment, it's always with a negative connotation. Why can't we, provide these children with the best resources so they can own businesses and provide jobs for folks?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a father of three boys, and my job is to provide the best product for the community, whatever community they decide to reside in, whether they stay here in Michigan, whether they go off, out of the country, whatever it is, they have to be a viable product for whatever community they reside in. And I think we take advantage of, having children, just for the sake of having, and not prepping them for life. We wait till they're 18 and we're like, well, you're an adult, you better figure it out. That was your job.
Mm.
It was your job to figure it out, you know, to give them the best resources, even if it's not college. Find out what your children's strengths are. You know what I'm saying, Bernard? How many folks they had skills to be, maybe, and I hate that I'm going this route, but like an entertainer. Maybe they had good skills for something, and the parents push something else on them, just for their own security.
Mm.
We don't push our children enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so in order to fix this community problem, we have to produce the talent. Or let me take that back. We have to cultivate the talent.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our young folks have the talent. No one's giving them the resources and the connections, to explore their gifts. So where does that creative energy go? Fucking random people, going into jobs that they don't like, doing all the shit, what I'm saying, that you have to do just to survive. But if your parents would have said, hey, you're really great at math, I should really think you should look into the STEM fields, you know what I mean? Excuse me. And that person graduates with a degree in STEM and can actually provide something for your community. How can you not stand behind that? But again, I think everyone's just waiting on we need to fix the community, but I'm not going to step up.
Yeah.
We need to fix the community, but the other side needs to make a move first. And and as a parent, I'm tired of waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like, the beautiful thing about being a father, and I know I'm being long winded. I'll shut up after this.
No, you got it. You got it.
The beautiful thing about being a father is, like, I'm a coach since day one. The reason why I had children is because I have lessons and infinite knowledge that I wanted to pass on to somebody, from day one in their lives. When you mentor somebody, you only mentor them for 2 hours a day. When you're a teacher, excuse me, you get them for 8 hours. They go home to their environments, and you have to deprogram everything from home just to fit in all your material in a couple hours, and it's an ongoing fight. But with my kids, I have the autonomy to get with them for 18 years, to coach them up, to do things better than I did. My father, before he passed, he was like, my goal for you is to be a better father than I was.
Yeah.
As a business owner, as a father, grandfather, you know what I mean? Like, you just have it innately to want to see people do better. And why not put that best product into your children? So, one day you can look up and say, damn, my kids, are business owners, or, they're the top in their fields and whatever profession, and you can pat yourself on the back on that. And now I'll shut up from there.
Oh no, that was good stuff. That was good stuff. I was definitely feeling all of that. Let's see, we got 212 people liking. Y'all hit that like button. We got 123 people. That 123 likes, 8 thumbs down. Come on, who disliking the show today? Who disliking the show? Y'all dead wrong. But
Hey, ain't no problem with it. Hey, like or dislike, it's still getting you in the algorithm. So
yeah, I know, I know. I'm just talking junk, just talking junk. But yeah, y'all hit that like button. Let's get those likes up. And my man, Complex Design is in the building. Real quick before I go to Complex Design, Benjamin D'Souza asked a question. I don't even know if I understand it, but he says, "What is the ARNA tribe?" What it,
oh,
that's
it's the Aboriginal Republic of North America.
okay. That's what I thought the ARNA stood for.
Yeah,
So
Arna. Yep.
okay, yep, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Well, all right. Complex Design, welcome aboard. Welcome to the show. Go ahead, fire. Oh my goodness, he left. Come back, Complex. Come back, because I wanted somebody else to come up and either ask some questions or give some pushback to what he's saying. Because I like what he's saying. I mean, it's I like it because it does put the man in a position of power. That's you know that's one reason why I love what you're saying here. But some people have had some subtle pushback to what you have been saying. So I do want
Yeah,
to
and that's fine. I'm not. I wasn't expecting everybody to be all gung ho about it. But again,
yeah.
if you want to learn more, like we have a website called governmentreparations.org. You could check us out. See what we're all about. You know what I'm saying? Not just on the marriage tip, but for everything. You
Yeah.
know, like I said, I usually get people with the student loan debt, elimination, and that's what people kind of turn their ears. But again, we're just talking about the marriage piece because everybody talks relationships, red pill, MGTOW, SYSBM. Everyone's talking relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's funny because a lot of people were given the rhetoric that well, the red pill space is being infiltrated by blue pillars, and you know what, it's gonna happen because everyone's talking relationships, no matter what angle you spin it on. No matter how much we're anti women or no matter how much you don't want to deal with women, the topic is still women. So you know what I'm saying. So at this point, I was like, you know what? Why not just provide information of what I'm doing? So for the brothers who are interested, and even if they're not interested right now, you can put the seed, in the back of their minds. So if they do change their mind, they're like, you know what? What's that private contract Brother Ali was talking about? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you got to sow the seed, and when the time is right, or if it, whatever, they'll tend to seek it.
Yeah, but one thing I do gotta say, because the way you worded that when you said the red pill space is being infiltrated by by blue pillars, it sounded like you were drawing a line saying that those that don't want relationships are red pill and those that do are blue pill. That's not accurate. I
No, you're
think
you're
that
right. I'm just
yeah,
saying, like, I guess the point I was trying to make was everyone's talking relationships no matter what your ideology is.
exactly.
That's
Yeah,
what I was getting. That's what I was getting
yeah,
at. I
yeah.
didn't mean to categorize them like that.
Right, right. Okay, yeah. I was just making sure because really what you're doing for a man that does want a family, what you are talking about is I would have to say you're going about it in the way that a red pill man who understands the nature of reality and accepts it as it is. What you are doing is a countermeasure because you understand what you're up against.
Yeah,
If you go about it the traditional way,
absolutely. And
so that's what you're doing. What you're talking about is very red pill in my estimation.
yeah, and here's the thing is that what I'm saying, yes, ultimately is to give the man power into a situation, regarding marriage. But the biggest thing is just I'm looking for two consenting adults who are mature enough to say, I don't need the state in my affairs. That's it. That's really it. You know what I mean? Like we're controlled enough as is. I don't need the government in my bedroom. And nobody should.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I gotta keep harping on the maturity piece because in our society that's not always the case. You got the bitter baby mamas and the few of the well-to-do, no good, deadbeats. So you're always going to have that issue. But for those who are smart enough and for those who want to bark on that endeavor and just be protected, you know what I'm saying, what do you have to lose? you know what I'm saying? As far as, if you're going to do it, protection versus no protection.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, there's a big difference between rawing a chick and getting her pregnant because it's damn near expected, compared to you wearing a condom and a condom break. Like, at least you have some protection in that kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, no, definitely, definitely. Malcolm in the Middle 87. What's going on? Salute to you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Says, what's up, Bernard? Again, thank you for the super chat. Man, Gabe A came through with a super chat. He says, salute Hasani.
Brother Gabe.
What's going on, Gabe? Appreciate the support. And without further ado, we got J.I. on the panel. What's going on?
Hey, nothing much. Thanks for having me. What's going on, Mr. Ali?
Hey, nothing much, good brother. I can't call it. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. I wanted to ask about your system, and first I want to
Yes, sir.
congratulate you about commend you for presenting your point so well. It's a very interesting topic. So in this system, when things fall out, or if things fall out, because I know you said you had to put somebody out that was acting up. How do you go about governing who gets the children in the split?
And again, that's where it goes with the, abiding mature individuals. First it's like, we would trust you on your own to make those decisions. And then, if someone's not complying, then we do have, protocols in place to where you would, call up a aboriginal lawyer, you know um an aboriginal lawyer to, draft up a case and to have that investigated. In our marriages, you do have covenant keepers, and those are people who oversee your marriage. You definitely will report to those individuals. And then if it goes to an extreme case, then you'll be on terms to be, filed for, exile, in regarding the case you're not complying and not, handing your children, dividing time between you and your ex-spouse. And then we take, tribal measures from there. We do have tribal courts, that you will have to answer to, and then you will be, dealt with as follows.
So these courts, they're recognized like by the state that they're in. Their
No,
authority, I mean.
you would have to answer to the chief, Dr. Ali Muhammad. And so, so whether you have to actually physically show up, or you have to, do like a, like a conference or whatever. Because here's the thing where people, are putting themselves in jeopardy, is that if you're not willing to comply, and you're willing to risk your quote unquote benefits for Arna, then you're not going. You know what I'm saying? If you're that defiant that you're willing to, give up your benefits, then you're probably going to be a lost cause. You know what I'm saying? People are not going to just get up and leave with everything that's provided for you. Business registration, tax exemption, access to, people to eliminate your debt, that kind of thing. And so, like I said, we've never had, an extreme case revolving children, but I've heard, even before I joined, where, brothers you know, um, have escorted another brother, to, go get his children from the ex-wife. So, the brotherhood, we do hold everyone accountable, and they will, escort, just in the case that I've heard, we will have brothers escort, another brother to go get his children, without the riffraff. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people, understand what this is. And so this is kind of like you're in or you're out. You don't get to, dab in and out of the system, because you want things your way. Like, once you're out, once you're in, you're in. We protect you on all fronts. But if you do decide to be defiant, then, you will be exiled, from the group. You'll lose everything. And then basically what happens to that person who was defiant, you're on your own.
Okay. So there are checks and balances, and I guess
Right.
that's the carrot and the stick situation. So
Yep.
in this situation that you got going, because it sounds very interesting. Do you all at all govern who or how many children like they get to have? Because like you said, the one guy left his chick, he was acting up. and went to another chick, are you like, no, you can't be having all these kids, or there's a limit to how many? Do you guys govern in that way?
I'm Me personally, I'm investigating his case because he, this is his first child, and this is an account, made by the woman, and we did check into it and verify that he was kind of talking to other women. So and they're not even this is a kind of an off case scenario because the woman's not even in the tribe. Like, he's tribal, but he's dealing with someone outside the tribe. So it's we're looking into this into this scenario because this is one of those one-offs. And so with this one-off, it's like, do we kick them out, or do we have another procedure as far as holding him accountable to that child? Because if he does decide to leave, or things go sour with those two, you have one person in the system, one person outside the system, and we can only do what we can, based on our end, so to speak. And so as I'm looking into his case, I do want to kind of get with him and kind of like basically like just have a talk with him, like, yo, you got this woman pregnant, you promised that you were going to stay, and basically hold him accountable, just like as men do, and if he decides to be on some fuck shit, then we'll deal with them, how we need to. But like I said, it's going to be one of those one-offs because he's tribal and she's not. And like I said, you're always going to have those dysfunctional cases because not everyone's going to come in, with the purest intentions. People do tend to have bad judgment and bad errors. So we'll deal with him as we need to, as we're further investigating this case.
Okay, so people do get to just be with whoever they want to, though. You guys don't arrange marriage.
I'm sorry, Doug. You choose, but we do vet, if that's what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah, we vet both parties. We do investigate, your history, your family's history, your compatibility. We do check to see if there's mental illness, physical illness, anything that will prevent you from putting your best foot forward. And then, if we see anything if we have any objections to why it wouldn't be a good fit, we'll definitely address it, with you two. And, if you decide to, do it anyway, against our best judgment, then you say, well, hey, we don't necessarily it'd be a good fit. And so, you kind of just go on your own with that. Cause like I said, you don't want to put your name on something that you don't have, you don't want to put your name on something that you don't think is going to be successful. So.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I do think Black people will benefit from some type of structure like this, or the NOI, or even the Hebrew Israelites, whatever, some type of system that has some type of structure. So I really like that. Do people have to pay dues to it?
Yep, you have yearly dues. Like you say,
how much?
For an individual is $360, and for a family, I think it's like $720. But that doesn't matter like how many in the family.
Okay.
And that's just yearly?
$360 is for one individual. Yeah.
That's really not a lot. That's really not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a lot for a yearly.
No, it's not. And it's just because we need daily operations. You know what I'm saying? Because we have people who make the IDs, people who make the tribal docs, people, we have people that Chief Ali has to pay in order to get all these docs, composed. Like, we have 5,000 members across the country.
Okay.
And so, you know what I'm saying? When you're governing 5,000 people, you gotta pay folks. We have naturopathic doctors on staff. We have like the Aboriginal lawyers. We have economic specialists. We have midwives across the country that we're starting a program. Like, this is literally something for Black folks to start providing autonomy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about, we want to have our own systems, our own hospitals, our own doctors. Like, this has been going on, like I said, for 12, 13 years now. And the reason why, we haven't, it's not really a mainstream thing is because, again, you don't want to just attract anybody and everybody.
Is it anybody who's doing this that have essentially, because we mentioned the Mormons, and we kind of alluded to what they got going on in Utah, those private separate, I don't even know what to call it, but
Those compounds.
yeah, compounds, yeah. Have y'all, is it anybody who's have essentially taken that step to where they're more or less separated? Any Aboriginals that's just separated, they got their own little space, own land, and they're basically building little communities.
Right. Right now, we have a small town in Georgia that's right now for purchase that we're currently trying to work on obtaining for like 1.2 million. And so we're definitely working on that. We have acreage of land in Alabama and I believe in North Carolina. So it's a small process, but we're slowly getting there.
Yeah, see, I'm now my business mind is kicking in where I'm like, y'all should, instead of that 300 or 700, y'all should make it a percentage, because I know a lot of churches hit a full blown lick when they because they getting that 10%, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so that 10%, if you got somebody that make 40,000, then that's gonna be 4,000. But what happened when you get a doctor in the camp that's making 400,000? Now we talking about some real bread. Fuck around and get a millionaire in the camp, and now with some real bread, now y'all can really do some shit.
Yeah, with Dr. Ali Muhammad, people know about him. Like, he was in that but people probably know him from the conscious circle, the Brother Polites, the Umars. He was one of the originals on Sonnetter TV. This brother has gone to court and won several cases. You know what I'm saying? Like, the possibilities are there. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, the people who want to come in and do something, definitely come in and ruffle some feathers. And then we have people who just take the benefits and fall back, but a lot of people, it is a risk that you're taking, especially if you're a person of affluence, because he does have people that support him and buy his products, but to actually put their name, as a tribal individual, a little, cause a little trouble. But at the same time, again, like I said, if you want to be free, freedom isn't free. It takes work.
Right on. David Johnson came through the super chat. I appreciate that. He says, talking about black relationships or interactions should, I hate you and all them damn caps, man. You got to do something about that. Should be normal conversation, being that black men and women have to deal with each other daily. Thank you very much for that super chat, and that's a very good point. Black Quizzard came through the super chat. Came through with another one because he dropped a 50 piece on me earlier and a few $5 super chats after that. So this show today is brought to you by Black Quizzard. But anyway, does the ARNA have a militia? If not, how does it enforce anything as a governing body? How is one held accountable? We kind of already talked on that a little bit, but well, not from the strong arm of a militia standpoint, but he says, how is one held accountable in a nation of individuals without guns? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. So here's the thing. Like I said, with the case where the brother was escorted to go get his children, I don't believe they used guns. I think when they came to the door, she knew what time it was. They got the children. But at the same time, our main thing is paperwork. Until we get big enough to where we can have a militia. Because remember, we're all across the country. We're not just in one concentrated area as of right now. So right now, the biggest thing is paperwork, as everything always will be. You won't be able to, intimidate or have someone stand down because you don't have any weapons. But at the same time, you can fight. The pen is mightier than the sword in a lot of cases. And so, like I said, when you enforce something like, marriage or children, what I'm saying, that's why you have to govern yourself.
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think people, and I'm not saying you that's answering the question, but a lot of people who, kind of question it is that it's about self-governance. You know what I'm saying? If you want this autonomy, that means you have to also govern that autonomy. You have to hold people accountable. Like I said, when the brother went and got his children, they called the other brothers in that state and they came and did it.
Yep.
Voluntarily. You know what I'm saying? Because it means that much to them.
Hold your thought real quick. Well, JI, do you got a question? I got to step away for a quick second. JI, you got a question for Brother Ali while I step away?
Yeah.
Or y'all can talk amongst yourself for give me about 2 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. So you said you're looking at a place in Georgia with land. When I was listening to you, I don't know if you know the YouTuber called Pastor Dow. It reminded me. You familiar with him?
I'm familiar with him. Yep.
So it just reminded me of that. And the thing that I respect about him, not from the religious standpoint, because I don't, do any of the religion stuff, but just from a self-reliability standpoint, what he preaches is all about self-sufficiency and doing for self. And that's something I really respect. And he's done it on a small scale with what he's built with, his straightway land or whatever. And I always envisioned Black people, if they all could come to one accord, all moving to the same area and working and essentially becoming self-efficient like that. But I was asking, you said you got 5,000 members now. Do you think that if you are able to secure a piece of land and you come together, do you think that will be better to have everybody in one group instead of spread out randomly?
Oh, absolutely. And I think everyone's just kind of waiting on, to find where the central hub is going to be. And I think once we have that, I think that's where it's going to make the migration. And so again, it's that self-reliance piece, that we talk about. And thank you for the question, by the way. I definitely appreciate that. I know Bernard's been really working real hard on the show, and for everybody listening, definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. But back to the self-reliance piece, as you guys know, with the Black Lives Matter, doing the whole defund the police, narrative, if that actually goes to fruition, there's going to be a lot of community policing around here. If we don't have any police, especially with the way, America's going with this, with this economy crashing, and probably the next, few months, if you don't have any police on staff, who's going to protect you? You're going to have to do it. You know what I mean? So as we're talking about doing things for self, there's going to be a time, in this, in our lifetime, especially like I said, probably around 2021, where you're going to start seeing, more self-reliance, on people, because not everything is going to be readily available. You know what I mean? So if there's no police, you're going to have to police yourself. If there's, let's say something happens to the hospitals, you're going to have to cure yourself, heal yourself, have babies at home. Like I said, we're going to, our third child, we're going to have it right here at home. And so, again, it's another way to provide jurisdiction for yourself, not subject to vaccines or anything to that degree. But yeah, so like I said, the policing that, that goes on in this community is for the people who, like I said, who voluntarily, realize that we have to provide the structure for ourselves. And if you want to be self-sufficient, you have to be able to look at what's needed and how we're going to obtain it. You can't be halfway in, and then when shit isn't as smooth as you thought, go back to the system. You gotta want this for yourself.
BGS Itmore, welcome and salute to BGS Itmore, who's in the chat. Says, ask a good question that we kind of touched on earlier in the show, but it's definitely worth a second review.
Yeah, go ahead.
How does he get a woman to sign away their privilege?
First of all, shout out to BGS. BGS, and I don't think he knows this story. BGS is like my YouTube dad. As weird as that is, like when I lost when my father passed away, I had I was going through a series of, I was really depressed for a very long time, and I was playing like an O'Shea video or something, and BGS popped up, and he sounded just like my dad. I was like, who the hell is talking on whose channel am I on? and like BGS had the same mannerisms and everything. So it kind of drew me onto the channel, and I've been a subscriber ever since. So shout out to BGS. But
Yeah, and that
so
link in the chat, BGS, if you want to come up, you're always welcome. Roll out the red carpet for you whenever you show up. But go ahead, Ali.
So basically, when it comes to this particular contract, again, like I said, it's something you for most people you draft up on your own. Here at with Arna, we have our own drafted, pre-drafted, contracts, and you just kind of add everything as need be. You sign, you both sign. You have your notary, you have your witnesses, and so you tell them, you explain, like, look, I'm not, if I'm going to be with you and have children with you, I'm not going to give the state's jurisdiction, over our affairs. And if you're not with that, then, we can't continue this. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like you're doing this out of coercion. You're not forcing anybody to do anything. It's strictly voluntary. You know what I mean? And so when you make that decision, like, look, I'm going to get married, but I'm doing it under these terms. A lot of your favorite celebrities have private contracts. That's why they're married. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see, like the Diddy's and J-Lo's, the Nick Cannon, the Mariah Careys. That's why the marriages don't last so long, because they know, they can get out of it, and more times than none, they can go their own separate ways without any of the legal mess. But yeah, a lot of those folks have private contracts.
Hey, what's the unifying religion that ties us together?
No religion.
Okay, so okay.
Like I said, the laws, are more on the Islamic side, just because, like I said, the brother grew up in the nation of Islam. But like there's no, we're not subscribed to like a Holy Quran or anything like that. It's just that since that's the brother grew up in the nation of Islam, we typically have those protocols.
So
but no actual religion.
So the people can be whatever religion they want personally, as long as they follow the rules.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Right. Cool.
All right. Complex Design in the building. What's going on, Complex?
Hey. What's going on, yeah?
Hey. What's up? I didn't expect that one from you, man.
Okay. Sorry, Bernard. It's been a while. Hey, I had a question here. I got to kind of do some work here, but I wanted to pose a question to the brother.
Yes, sir.
I had a private union with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't done differently. So there's many ways to do what you're talking about, right? So
right.
What I wanted to ask you though was based the protocols that you talk about. Do these protocols account for like the fourth industrial wave?
I'm sorry, repeat that last part one more time.
Do the protocols account for the fourth industrial wave? The reason why I ask is in terms of like how you're saying things are to be done. And so I'm asking, is there a technological application, right? And is there a fourth industrial scope of view within what you guys do?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear? Yeah, I was I stepped. Did you ask him a question? Did you ask Hasani a question?
Yeah, did you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I heard you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, after you asked the question, it was dead air, and then I had to come back in and see. Wait.
No, I was asking the brother, could he expound on the fourth industrial wave? I was just a little confused on it. Just wanted a little bit of clarification on it. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that's what happened. We didn't hear nothing. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, fourth industrialization. So we're looking at the onset of like cryptocurrencies, right? We're looking at a post-COVID global environment. And so we're rapidly going into a space where like things are being done remotely and all these different types of things. And so I'm saying it's as far as like what you were kind of explaining how things are done as far as record keeping and all these types of things. I'm asking, is there a position in this where this works with technology?
Yes, we're working on technologies on our end. I mean, we're working on an Aboriginal currency right now. Um, Obviously, that's going to take a little while to get off the ground, but all of the things that we have to file, as far as documentation, everything is we have our own database that will keep all the files, all the records. Again, with everything changing the way it is, you have to keep up with with everything that's going on, and you definitely have to stay, basically in present time. We
Hmm.
definitely have to keep abreast of or stay abreast on all the adjustments and all the changes,
Hmm.
and I didn't even think about it. So anybody in the Atlanta area, we're actually having our annual summit in the Georgia in Atlanta, Georgia, this weekend. And so for those who may have some interest or may want to know some more may know some more information, like I said, governmentreparations.org is the website. And so you could definitely check us out. But yeah, we're slowly making adjustments as as we're going into this new industrial wave. Now it makes sense as you say the term out loud. But we're definitely trying to move with the times and make sure we keep it um, updated with everything, so we're not getting caught with any hiccups in the near future.
All right, all right. Let's see. Haven't been banging the drum on the likes that much today, but I think they've been yeah, they actually pretty good. 172 people watching, got 159 likes. It's actually very good. So we're doing good on the likes. I appreciate that. Um, Complex. Let's talk about how when you went about your non-state sanctioned marriage, how did y'all go about that? Because it sounded like you were saying something in the chat. Oh my goodness, he just dropped down again. He must have got a phone call. I wanted to ask him how did he go about it because he said that it sounded like he was alluding to in the chat that it was a little complex the way that you were explaining it. I think he was saying he did it in a more simpler kind of way. So yeah, complex. What I was about to say, when you did your non-state sanctioned marriage, how did you go about it? Because I remember you said something in the chat like, "Hey, just go get married," or whatever. You made it seem like it was a very simple process and or something
No,
like that. So
I didn't. Well, I mean, like I said, there's multiple ways to do it, right? And I think with what they with his organization, they have a kind of a different sort of structure and thing going on. For me, it was more just estate based. So that's kind of how it worked. We just leveraged, civic entities that anyone could file, and we just did it that way. So that's why I'm not picking any bones about what he's talking about in terms of like pursuing other forms of forming unions, right? I was just more or less when he was telling me about all of the processes, and I was thinking like, okay, but we're quickly going into this this time where everything's just going to be like Zoom and app based and digital currencies and all that. So I mean, are we accounting for these types of technological changes? That was really what my primary question was.
yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah, and then that is a good question because the perception is if you got you're not on file, you're not documented, you're not don't got a birth certificate, social security card. When the whole world goes technical, yeah, you're gonna. It just seems like
Right, but
you're gonna take a L somewhere. It seems.
right. Is
It
there like
just
a
seems.
plan for? Is there like a plan for like blockchain based birth record keeping? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Digital.
you.
Yeah, digital infrastructures that tie in various aspects of civil workings, right?
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, like I said, with our Aboriginal lawyers, they file the documentation. We have a database that stores all that information. Again, I'm not a jurist. I just like I said, my wife and I do the marriage department. So we when we do the birth or not the birth when we do the marriage certificates, or in the private contracts, we send them to the Aboriginal lawyer and they file. But we definitely have, all the e-records, because it's kind of hard to, it's not like, in a doctor's office where you could just put your name, a person's name on a manila folder and just put all the documents in there. Like, it's definitely hard to keep track of 5,000 people that way. So, yeah, we have our databases, that, stores everybody's information, stuff that, typically, important information that we need to know, because especially, and I totally forgot to add this aspect. If you do decide to do Arna, we do perform a background check. So we definitely would have that paperwork as well. Just having your profile, what everyone, if you have any derogatory things on your record that we may need to address. But yeah, we definitely have all that information available, digitally. I just don't know, the exact, process on how we do it.
Right on, right on. All right, the link in the chat. Anybody else wanna come on up and get a piece of this? Got some good information going here. We're joined by, if those just making it in, Hasani Ali. I know a lot of you know him, saw him on O'Shea on the Hall of Game. About to drop the link to his channel once again. About to drop the link to his channel. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not over there checking him out, because he's dropping a lot of really, really good information over there. So there is the link right there to his channel. Make sure you go and sub to Hasani Ali's Coach Ali's Corner is the name of his YouTube channel. Make sure you go check him out. We're talking about how to do a off the grid marriage. A lot of good information. A lot of good information was put on the table. One question that I saw is, it was asking, how does this benefit your kids? And I think that's a good question, because I understand how it benefits you as a parent with your kids not being, state sanctioned, so to speak. But how does this benefit the kids? Like, does this do anything for them, or is it just all the benefits is for the parents' protections? How does this help the actual child? That's a question I saw.
They don't, when it comes to your children, they don't have a contract. They're not wards of the state. And we kind of talked about this in the beginning. So like I said, if someone did not agree with your parental style, or, wanted to call CPS cannot legally take your children away from you. You know what I'm saying? I know that's more of a parent protection, but again, I don't want to see my children being, trafficked or getting in the Pizzagate, but it's protection for the children. And so again, I would go ape shit on someone trying to take my kid, saying, we got a call saying that you were not being a fit parent or whatever, this, that, and the other. It's protection for the children. And also, and I know this is kind of an abstract, benefit, but it teaches them free thinking. So when you explain this to them, when they're like, Baba, how come I don't have a birth certificate? I explain to them what it is and why they don't have one, why everyone else have one. And so, as far as the, documentation, like I said, when you're raised around self-reliant, well-to-do Black folks, you're kind of grooming yourself to be a product of that environment.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So what happens in a situation of illness, right? Let's say wife comes down with something. So how does and this is like a legit question. Like how do you account for something like this?
Oh yeah, no problem. So like I said in the beginning, like we have insurance. We still have insurance. Like I said, we have we gave our private insurance provider all of our birth records, and well, I mean, I had a birth certificate at the time, but even after I renounced it, I was able to keep my private insurance that I pay out of my own pocket. And, for those who are truly into holistic health, you will go to your naturopathic doctor for a remedy. But if it's something like something dire, like someone gets shot or critically injured in an accident, clearly you will go to the hospital. Like I said, I have my own private insurance, so that would take care of that. And then for anything minor, again with the autonomy thing, piece is we give you the tools to heal yourself. So if it's something like high blood pressure, I'm trying to think of something minor that people typically go to the doctor for. Cold, flus, whatever. Like even I'll give you a perfect example. So for this COVID-19 thing, our Aboriginal doctors have come up with an herbal spray and a remedy that everybody does in their home. We do a hot boil. So we take a big pot and add the herbs that were prescribed by the Aboriginal doctors. You boil up the water. You put the towel over your head and you kind of absorb that steam. We do it 2 to 3 times a week, as needed. And so, like I said, for the people who, just have that fear that they, may contract it or may have it, we have protocols even for that. So, like I said, if it's something minor, we encourage you to take care of it yourself. But it's something, like an accident or someone gets shot, we're not against going to the hospital because, like I said, I have my own private insurance.
What if it's something more serious and prolonged, like a cancer or something like that?
Like a cancer, like I said, we do have professionals on staff who deal with cancer, especially if it's in the early stages. But like I said, let's say it's stage 4 and it's something that needs to be dealt with right away. Then we're not against you going to the hospital if it's something that needs to be taken care of, like it's life or death. But like I said, with the self autonomy piece, we definitely encourage those, if you have a naturopathic doctor in your area, or if you could afford it, to have them come out and treat you. But again, like I said, if it's something like life or death, then we definitely, go to the hospital, do, what you have to. And then, if you're, once you're well and rehabilitated, then we can provide a plan and a diet that will help you, basically reduce the not the hostility is what I'm looking for. Just reduce the chances that they'll come back.
Well, so is there a mechanism in place, right? So let's say something like that does happen, and what if it's like a rare cancer, right? And so there's like a specific type of treatment or something that you would need. Yeah, and so even if it was like early stage, so let's say it was early stage, right? So it may not particularly be life or death, but it's a rare one. And so there's going to be maybe a lot of testing. It might even require like DNA profiling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my question is like, okay, at what point do you do you relinquish the person to the state? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is in a legit life or death situation right now, are we going to account for those people, or do we say, okay, well, we can't really help you there?
I get what you're saying. So right. in that particular case, if it's something rare, if it's something that that the naturopathic doctors have not seen before, then basically what will happen is if you do end up going to the hospital, then that person will kind of be your I won't say a power of attorney, but you will not be in the hospital alone. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna just just send you to the hospital like, well, hopefully you figure it out. No, we wouldn't do that to you. Like, we would have someone either go with you as you're being admitted, or someone to check on you while you're staying there. But like I said, in a rare case like that, if it's something that can't be figured out, then we would definitely go to the protocol of if you got to go to the hospital, get tested and everything else, you definitely will have some kind of security, knowing that someone is there to check on you, or hold the hospital accountable for whatever procedures they decide to go with.
I would say this. I would say that it's actually not rare. Cancer is an extremely common thing, right? And there's all different types and forms, right? And I think that, brother, I don't want you to take my my line of questioning as
Mhm.
being, I don't want you to take it that way, but
Oh no, not at all.
right, where we're at, I think in listening to you, and I think this is a very noble thing that you're doing here. I just want people to also account for things that can happen in life, right? And
Yeah, they're pivotal questions. I get that.
right, and if we're going to be making life decisions, like making the kind of I guess you could say civic changes to one's own persona, if you want to say. We have to consider then what we kind of are removing ourselves from, right? And that I'm saying this because we need to be able to count for unforeseen, situations that may occur, something like a cancer, for example. Um, and so this is the reason why I just brought it up and wanted to ask you these questions. But we can continue on the conversation. I appreciate your answers, man.
No, absolutely. And you know what? I appreciate you addressing those tough questions because that is something you do have to consider. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't, it wouldn't be fair to just give you all the, the sunshine and roses about it. I mean, you definitely have
Right.
situations where, you're going to have, some difficulties. Like I said, um, we have situations where, people have gone, to the hospital. I'll give you a perfect example. My second son, my wife was in labor, and for some reason she just couldn't dilate, so we had to go to the hospital. It was what it was, and I was really adamant with the nurses. I said no vaccines. Give us a placenta, and it was such a hassle, but and things got done. But at the same time, we have to understand that, like I said, the freedom part isn't free, and that's the part I want to harp on because
Mm-hmm.
we do have I won't say dietary laws because it's not like we're not gonna give you the lashes if you don't eat your kale, but you know what I'm saying? Like we do have a list of things that we suggest that people eat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of disease begin in the colon, and so again, it's that preventative measure to say, hey, take care of yourself and you won't have to be in the hospital. If
Health
it's
is very
something
health. Yeah. Health is a very important piece, and I'm glad you're touching on that.
yeah, like okay, I'll give you a perfect example. There's a young lady, she had vitiligo, and
Okay.
the brother actually is helping her get her pigment back. If I knew how to share my screen on my phone, I would definitely try to look at the pictures. But you see, she is starting to get that melanin back in her skin, and he
Mm-hmm.
shows every week that she progresses. You know what I'm saying? Like we have the people who study the health, study the law. People who really want to see this thing go somewhere, and so people are doing their due diligence, to make sure that we're providing these services, as if so you can operate normally. So you would have to go, to a hospital for those who don't like vaccinations and pills and everything else. Like nature provides a cure for damn near everything, and so it's just a matter of studying what those things are. And again, I mean, cayenne pepper can't cure a bullet. So so if so if you got to go to the hospital, it is what it is. But that's definitely in those cases where if it's a dire emergency, we definitely encourage to go. And like I said, most people have that the private insurance, you know, so that it is what it is.
Okay.
All right, all right. Corner Store Podcast says, Peace, Bernard. What do you say? Who says, as times go by, you will be on the right side of history from yesterday's show. Keep up the great work. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate your support. Corner Store Podcast. Definitely appreciate your support. Um, yeah, that was some good stuff asking those questions. That I wasn't aware that was a thing. So yeah, you brought an aspect to it that I didn't consider.
Yeah, I'm,
Um,
and I'm glad he touched on it.
yeah,
Like I said,
yeah.
I was just focusing on the marriage piece, so I didn't think to touch on it. But like I said, we're in the economics field. I have a brother right now who's working helping people get rid of the student loans. Like I said, we do the private marriages. We have a whole health team of doctors on, naturopathic doctors on staff. Like I said, we really want to see this thing grow, and for indigenous folks to be self-sufficient. Like we were, pre-segregation. You know, when you can only go to a black doctor, when you can only get your house from a black mortgage company.
But why does it have to be, natural Well, I mean, it's small, so you probably don't have that many doctors. So that's why I suppose natural doctors would be a way to go about it. Or, I mean, is
I believe we have 22, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, we have classes for it. Like I said, we have a lot of people taking the classes, so I don't know what the number is up to date. But the reason why with the natural piece, like I said, if it's a small ailment, it's teaching you to take care of it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. My older brother, like, he would go to the hospital if he gets a cold.
Hold on, real quick, because Little Big Nate asked, "Did you have a YouTube channel?" The answer to that question is yes, Little Big Nate, and I'm dropping the link to it right now. So yeah, definitely go subscribe. And Counselor Murray, thank you for that super chat. All right, go ahead, Coach Ali.
Yeah, shout out to Big Lil Nate, man. I definitely like to see him get a YouTube channel, family man. He definitely brings some vital points about I think they were having a debate with I can't remember the brother's name, about just being accountable for people's actions as far as the the Lane versus the Pookie and Ray Ray thing. And he was saying, why should he have to work hard to take care of someone else who it was their parents' job. And again, and that's when I talk about is the self autonomy piece. Like I said, my older brother will go to the doctor when he has a cold, and we have a protocol. If a baby starts sneezing, I have an herbal tincture that I mix up, put it in a smoothie. He knocks it back, he's good to go. You know what I mean? Like, some things, like we've lost the ability to be self-reliant and not always going to somebody else to fix our problems. And so that's kind of what we're teaching you, or teaching ourselves, is how to deal with things on your own. If it's small enough. Obviously, if you have a broken arm, obviously you will go get medical help. But if you're starting to get gray hair, that's an indicator that your potassium levels are low. If you have if you are obese or have low testosterone, you know what you should be doing for that. You know what I mean? Just thinking holistically about things rather than just dealing with a problem, getting this fixed, and then going back to your old habits.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. If it's just in the realm of health and making the right calls, the right decisions in a more of a preventative way. I'm no big fan of the whole natural cures, alternative medicines thing.
Right.
I'm not. I can't rock with that one. But far as just overall preventative, excuse me, making sure that your health is right, I definitely can rock with that. And I don't know what y'all got going on in the chat. I keep hearing BGS saying stop feeding the troll. Billy Jeff said he's gonna fall back. I don't know if Billy Jeff was saying some crazy shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
yeah, I don't know what's going on in the chat. I just see some back and forth going on in the chat. Hopefully everybody is well behaved down there. But yeah, no, definitely some good stuff. And thank you, Counselor Murray, again for that super chat. I appreciate that. Y'all in the chat, come through with some questions. I'll drop the link if anybody else want to come on up, because a lot of good stuff getting put on the table. The table.
Yeah, and by the way, Bernard, I appreciate you allowing me to be a guest on the show today, and I'll definitely drop some in your Cash App once the show is over, because I definitely want to support Black male media, and this is important, because as a manosphere, the Black manosphere is rising. You know what I mean? We're going from red pill content to Black men doing sports. Brother Ramil got the business channel over there, fitness and health. You know what I'm saying? The more we support, the more brothers will come out and provide content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's definitely imperative. There should be no reason why, by the end of this year, you should be at 10,000 subs, especially with a daily talk show in the morning. You know what I mean? And so the more brothers that see that this is number one is lucrative, and number two, brothers are really interested in supporting this. You got to do it with our dollars. And so what I'm saying. Obviously, you're straight, because you have your own business, but at the same time, you provide this for us. You know what I'm saying? You could be with your family doing whatever. So definitely want to support Black male media where we can and get it going, so we can get more and more brothers providing content and start getting our narratives out there, so we can stop being the boogeyman and in a lot of people's spaces, and we can actually start retorting some narratives that are put out there about us.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love just the idea of getting our narratives out there. I love that when something happens in the media nowadays, that between all the Black male content creators on YouTube, you add it all up. Sometimes like we don't even realize where this person may got 10,000 views. A bigger content creator like O'Shea might have 20,000 views on it. Like you add up all them views, it adds up into the hundreds of thousands to the point to where a Black male perspective is getting out there, whereas it never was before. So that's definitely a good thing. And speaking of a Black male perspective getting out there, that doesn't get out there that much. Complex Design, when you do your ongoing series called what is it? The Sapio Male.
The Sapio Male's Guide to the Galaxy. Sorry, dude, I'm in the car.
Yeah,
that's on your channel, Brother Complex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make sure I sub.
Yeah, I'll drop Complex link too, because that's something that don't get out there, and he has an interesting take and spin on things when he talks about a lot of the topics and a lot of things that we talk about. I love how Complex gives his take and his spin on it. Do you even got a set time that you go on? Or is it kind of like random?
Yeah, it's
I've been seeing you on there. You're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so it's always late, man. Yeah. So it's always like, well, let me see. Last night was 10. It's usually 10 o'clock. Sunday I went live at 8 because it's Sunday night. I can go a little earlier, but I get off work at like 7. So by the time I get dinner ready, I've spent some time with my little one and all that, I can't really settle down to like get a live stream track until about 10:30. So mine tends to be like on a late night tip,
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll be seeing you going on at 1 a.m. Would be 10 o'clock for you.
But it would be 10 o'clock.
It would be 10 o'clock our time.
Yep, right. Yep. Yeah, so yeah. But definitely doing, so you kind of, for the East Coast folks, you're the third shift. You're like an extension of the third shift, sort of like a CUDA. It's like, that trips me out how we have sometimes 2 or 3 people on the third shift and everybody getting some, decent views sometimes, it's.
Well, I mean, my stuff, man, I guess decent views for me is probably like 20 folks. You know what I mean? My shit's a little more, I would say it's more on the heady side of things, right? I mean, we chop it up and we get our joke on and shit, but it's always in conversation, and the conversations are real deep dives, So I try to title it where you pretty much know where it's gonna go for the most part, and then I'll preface it. I don't do like articles really. I'll have maybe like a wiki entry. Maybe I'll find some quotes, for example, right? And I'll read quotes off and I'll give my take on the quotes relating to the subject matter. And that kind of springboards it onto some shit. And what I find is that the conversations can go for like 2, 3, 4 hours, and it's literally on the topic. You know what I mean? So a lot of the brothers really.
And he just went under a bridge and or died in a car accident. I don't know what's going on. Complex, are you there? Complex. He blew up.
Damn. But real quick, we don't mind.
Hold on, real quick. Hold your thought. That's Complex channel in the chat. Y'all can go check out Complex. Go subscribe to him. Doing good work over there. But go ahead, Hasani.
No, real quick, and this is kind of off topic, but I'll keep it real brief. And the importance of Black male media is so important. Brother Bernard, are you familiar with Roberto Blake?
Not very familiar. I know the name.
So Roberto Blake is black guy. He's a YouTuber, and his whole YouTube channel is helping people create YouTube channels. That's his whole steam.
I'm actually subbed to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll keep this short so you can continue your story. So the importance of black male media is Roberto Blake came out and said like how he was bullied in high school to the point where he was suicidal. You know what I'm saying? And so, he came out, talked about how he was bullied, how he feel like nobody would, accept him and understand him for what he is. And so when he came out with that story, he's gotten so many replies back saying, people were afraid to jump on YouTube because they were afraid of not being accepted. And so, tons of, I won't say tons, but, quite a few YouTubers have came out of that result of him just explaining that story. Like, I didn't think people would, take a liking to me. I didn't think people would, basically to subscribe to what I'm on. And when he opened up and told and explained to people, like, there's a market for everybody, because of that, more people came out and made channels. So you never know what kind of message that you have for folks, that can inspire someone else to jump on and make a channel, whether you want to make it business related, make a talk show out of it, maybe you want to sell products, but you know what I'm saying? Just encourage, other brothers by, doing your thing, and you'll definitely bring more people on to make this space grow. And I'll leave it at that.
Right on. Complex, go ahead and finish up what you were saying. You was in the middle of something and got...
Yeah, man, because I was in the car and StreamYard crashed on me. No, so I was just saying, man, the conversations are real. They're real dope. And yeah, man, that's really all I was saying, bro. So it's like 10 o'clock. I usually go 10 o'clock every night.
Okay, cool. All right, I normally go anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. We closing in on the 2 hour and 30-minute mark. So we're probably about to wrap this bad boy up. Well, Chaos Rain just dropped it. Chaos, you got something you can let out your first and last words.
Hey, Bernard. Hey, check it. Hey, Bernard, real quick. I'm actually about to go head into the store. So, hey, I appreciate you for having me up. And Hasani, hey man, good build, brother. Real good conversation, man.
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward. I'll be on tonight if you're on.
All right, that's what's up, man. Check me out.
All right,
peace, brother. All right, Chaos, go ahead and get your...
Hey, what's good, Bernard?
What's up, man?
Hassan, I only caught some of the earlier this stream. You're doing good, bro. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just words of encouragement,
Oh, I appreciate you, bro. And actually, I've been seeing you and brother Amiri on Facebook, so I've been commenting on over there. So I'm definitely keeping tabs on everybody. So I'm definitely supporting everywhere where I can.
Well, that's cool. That's what's up. All right, appreciate it. That's it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, fellas, we're about to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. I'd like to thank the special guest, Hasani Ali, dropped some good information on us today. He'll definitely be back. And I'd like to thank everybody who liked, shared, subscribed, donated, hit the super chat and or the Cash App. Appreciate all your brothers. Justin Harris in the building. What's going on? Yeah, appreciate everybody that participated in the show today. And with that said, fellas, we are out of here. Peace.
Peace.